You are listening to the Gentle Wave podcast, a place to remember your own true essence in wild reclamation. My name is Ina Jane, and I'm holding the space for you today. Words to nourish your soul, inspire your mind, and anchor your body in the remembrance that you hold all that you need inside of you. You are already whole. So let's own what we know, let's inspire each other, and let's write new pathways together. Music spreads its wings across the space and sails beyond the wooden patio out into the hill ranges. Words softly spoken meant to guide the way weave into the melody. I close my eyes and allow the vibrations to fill up my senses. A portal opens and I glide through into inner landscapes of wild abandon. No expectations, no right or wrong, wild permission, knowing there is no way it has to look, nothing to achieve. I take a deep breath and allow my body to soften into the cocoon woven out of sounds and words in the midst of whatever is alive, right here, right now, in my life. Dances drift in and out of my awareness around me, a cocoon of solitude in the midst of connection. Individual pathways spun and unspun in the embrace of a tapestry of moving tales, and I sense stories rise within me, resonant to the music, every cell in my body ready to respond, liquid whispers speaking to a rhythm, partly stimulated by the music and partly ignited by a melody deep within. The music keeps weaving around us, the little group of dancers on the wooden patio high above the buzzing streets, and the busyness of reaching and striving below. Ants carried on butterfly wings above their usual hive, we get to see ourselves from a distance, expanding out into the landscape around us, our heartbeats mixing with birdsong. Blue sky, white clouds sailing along, vultures, wings spread wide, carried by the currents of wind. Hills lush with the nourished green of rainy season, and far, far in the distance, the sun glistening on the watery surface of the sea. We are moving under the straw roof of the wooden patio, plants and flowers more domesticated than their wild relatives in the rolling jungly hills in the distance. They waft their scent, and butterflies dance to their enticing rhythm. Dragonflies soar across the little pond in the middle. It is so silent up here, under the music. The vibration of dancing feet on wood echo through my spine while I lie here, incapable to move even one muscle. Frozen in my inner desert, tears silently trickling down my cheeks, the only movement. And I let myself fall into the wardrobe of remembering. My feet are talking to a different tune than the one high above the rolling hills and far off sea, on a different dance floor, far down the spiral labyrinth of time and space. This is the first time I ever set foot on a dance floor, held by a garden filled with whispered promises of all that was going to unfold from here, even though I wasn't able to hear it back then. Now, eyes closed, stepping into the wardrobe of remembering, I see it all, and listening unfolds in more than just one way. The very first time I ever set foot on a dance floor, the freedom, the space that suddenly opened, my breath caught in the surprising thrill of recognition, of allowing and of trust in nothing but my body to guide me through. I had stepped into that space with the firm belief that I was hopeless when it came to moving my body, that I had no connection to music at all, or any sense of rhythm for that matter. That was over 10 years ago. That experience changed my connection to my body in the most profound way, marked one of many first steps into embodiment in my life, and allowed me to understand that we are all dancers in our very unique way. It was one of those times when a choice I made seemed to make no obvious or rational sense within my established self-concept at the time. Yet I had felt strongly drawn to this practice that was described as free-form movement meditation. It was an immediate full-body yes that I couldn't explain and that seemed to make no sense at all. This first session opened up so many pathways within me and activated the memory of so many essential parts that had been buried. I still remember the elation of experiencing myself in the few moments I was actually able to let go, the ease that came with experiencing myself moving in my body, finding I, all of a sudden, had a way to express myself in a language that allowed me to say things that before had felt impossible to give voice to. And I didn't remember learning it, that language. It was just there, like a gift dormant inside, waiting to be awakened. That first session truly changed the course of my life. Less than a year later, I moved to the other end of the world and was welcomed in this community of people that became an integral part of my life in very different ways. A journey of unraveling and embodying, of finding my way back to myself again and again, claiming essential aspects within me which had started with that first step onto a dance floor. The dancing movements reminded me so much of how writing felt in my body. Writing had been until then the only space of untamed exploration, expression, and wild honesty in my life. After that first dance session, writing and dancing slowly but steadily melded together, until, when I wrote, I felt the words in my body, movement that tingled in my mind, and between the wild whispers I listened to the stillness, made space for the ripening flow, and allowed my fingers to dance over the pages to the rhythm of whirls turning inside out. At the same time, I began writing stories with my body, allowing them to emerge, to express what I knew, what I had seen many times before, what surprised me, what I couldn't even place yet, and what I had always kept just out of sight, hidden in the shadowy corners of my being. All of it emerged. So writing became a dance and dancing became storytelling. Both connect me to the same wild place where I get to meet myself again and again, a space of untamed honesty, wild trust, and connection. It is a dance that has no steps and a language that knows no grammar, a meeting place of worlds where I come to nourish my soul and anchor myself in a deep sense of belonging. Today, lying here on the wooden planks of this dance space high above the buzzing streets, surrounded by rolling hills, I believe I'm a dancer who has lost her ability to move. Where did it go? The strong foundation of trust in my body and wholesome self-expression. Today I just feel lost, lonely, even in the midst of people. Now on this dance floor on the plateau, surrounded by other dancers, I feel out of place, and the landscapes conjured up by memory appear like unreachable lands. Like clothes in a wardrobe, I remember how good I felt in them, how good I looked in them, yet when I try them on, they don't fit. I can't breathe. So I force the zippers and the buttons, suck in the breath until I can squeeze my way in, yet there is no way to move in them. It would break the shems, it would destroy the fabric. My limbs feel like lead, rigid, moving is an impossibility, no steps. I try a couple, force my body into movement. I've done it many times, Body memory runs deep, doesn't it? It has to be possible. I must find it somewhere. I urge myself on. If not by any other means, then surely by force. I cannot, one moment longer, lie a frozen statue in the middle of swirling bodies. But there is nothing, only loss. That is all I'm feeling. Tired from this forceful attempt to move, that has only left me feeling more empty than before. My throat tightens with rising anger and fear, and tears are burning in my eyes. So I close them again, and find myself on the shorelines of oceans abandoned, memory unbound by solid lines drawn in barren sand. I stand in the desert, feet burned by relentless heat, sweat pouring down my body, skin aflame, lips cracked, and the memory of water and trees, forests and meadows, oceans and lakes, nothing but shimmering illusions in front of my eyes. They don't offer any respite, only the painful imprints of unreachable memories. Stumbling through the desert, I have lost my way. So what is there to do? I let myself fall even deeper. No sand, only wooden floorboards under my back, meant for dancing feet, not fallen spines. When had it happened? When had it become too dangerous to move freely? When had I become afraid of the fire within me? When had it burnt out? Fear sits on my chest, making it hard to breathe and swallow. So tired, so angry, so afraid. A wild fear that burns me up from the inside. And then, right there, lying on the wooden planks, the vibration of dancing feet echoing through my spine on the floor, in the now all too familiar cocoon of burning icicles, I can feel myself let go, one bit more. And I lean into my solitude. This is me too, right here in this moment. So what if moving feels impossible? What if I meet the frozen statue in the desert of burning icicles with playful curiosity, childlike wonder? What if I honor her stillness? All of a sudden, the world seems to open wide. I am everywhere, nowhere, lost and found, alone and all one. I remember the power that lies in my own pace. So I let the past settle into the tapestry of the future until all there is the blank canvas of this moment. And I find I am not afraid any more. I surrender. I am at peace with myself. Fires might burn out, and what if that's okay? They might drown in the rivers of days spent on the floor, crushed by heavy weights. And what if that's okay? I have built dams of restraint, control, discipline, trying to keep in check the flood, so scared of the fire burning out, to step out of the struggle, to let it dwindle, to let the ashes grow cold, to not keep going. Now that I sink into the sanctuary of time, so much of that, upheld as iron truth, melts. A soundbite with no meaning, and I find myself bared skin, covered in soot, in the river of life, with an itch between my shoulder blades. And I see the desert with new eyes, deserted parts within me. That's all the desert is. So lying here, right now, seemingly immobilized, is just an invitation. I can't run anymore from these deserted paths, and I don't want to. A lesson I had thought I had learned long ago when I first set foot on a dance floor, I find I am revisiting now with new intensity. I deserve to be whole. Those abandoned paths deserve to flourish. So what if the Fata Morganas of water are nothing else but an invitation to bring water to the desert? What if the seeds have already been planted? What if I allowed them to sprout? They have been, waiting for me patiently. What if standing in the desert means I'm not lost, but found? A deep breath fills my veins, and I open my eyes. This is real. We dance to the unfolding song of who we are. Each step, each touch, each glance, each whisper, yet another thread, an open portal for us to venture through. There is no end to this. Change is inevitable, yet sometimes we remove ourselves so far in the attempt to force something, in the attempt to control a certain outcome, that our inner landscapes become a battlefield where we lose touch with our medicine, and then even restoring balance becomes this forceful act. I find it's crucial to remember that peace is only found in relaxation, in allowing. That's how I can reconnect to my own power. Surrender is an active choice, honoring our inner authority. The moment we believe ourselves, we begin believing in ourselves. Balance is the key. It is already organically part of us. We all have our different ways of finding our way back to balance, and sometimes even being out of balance is just the other side of the coin, excruciating but necessary. As long as we have tools to find our way home again, remember the things that can guide us through the desert. There is really nothing to fear. Sometimes you need to pour trust over brittle leaves and allow the fire to burn out. That day I remembered dance as my way to not only regain my balance, but to create an open space to redefine what that balance means to me on the evolving journey of my life in this moment. For often a balance we have upheld for so long grows from a sanctuary into a confinement, if we don't allow it to shift and change with us. My dance will change. We are not the same. We change, we shift, we transform. Peace is found in the sacred act of allowing. And it might take some time until I will be able to feel whole in my body again. I know there is no going back. But now the memories don't feel like torture anymore. They feel like backup, like hands between my shoulder blades telling me, you are okay. Keep going. It might never feel the same again, but I know it will feel nourishing in a whole new way. And maybe even better, hope whispers in my heart. That day, high above the rolling hills, I add another dance floor to my wardrobe of remembering. Now I am lying on the tiled floor in my room in the valley, the soft chatter of birds outside, red flaming blossoms on the tree outside the window rocking in the gentle breeze, the neighbor shouting for her child, a car horn in the distance, and the day's heat presses against the window while soft thunder in the background promises relief, slowly rolling down from the hilltops. Now that I am lying here, music is once again weaving its cocoon around me, and I find the same heaviness I uncovered on the patio high above the valley, making it impossible to move. The tunes of a song weave around me, part of a playlist a friend put together for me in an attempt to offer me open portals into support and reclamation of the medicine that dance used to be for me. She also checks in with me every now and again and wants to know how I am doing. I take a deep breath. Someone out there believes in me, trusts my pace, even if I can't seem to find that in me right now. What if that's enough? Maybe, just maybe it is possible, and I will find my way back into the bliss of dance one day, And right there, talking hands on the tiled floor of my room, I take the first step, slowly building the bridge into this new balance of mine in droplets, rivulets, streams and full-flushed rivers of movement. I allow my creative fire to kindle once again between the pages of my life. Dancers, we weave our stories. It is a task nobody can or actually should ever take off our shoulders. They can't. We have to do it ourselves, even if it feels too heavy a task at times. It is part of the empowering beauty of the process walking ourselves home. But one thing is for certain, we don't have to do it alone. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gentle Wave podcast. I hope it lands in between the pages of your life as nourishment and inspiration. We are here to be wild. We need you. We need your perspective. We need you making sense in and of this world in your very own way. That, to me, is the true revolution, right here in the heart of ourselves. A powerful wave rooted in the softening of our very relationship with ourselves, weaving soul circles into our bodies. Thank you for your presence on this wild human ride. Until next time, I wish you a journey of playful curiosity and wild ease.